Hello and welcome to QU All Access. I'm Courtney Gear.
And I'm Ryan Snyder, and this week's show will look into one student's positive experience at the new QU Stadium.
And how students receiving Illinois MAP grant funding may be in trouble. Topping our news this week, the Oregon campus shooting earlier this month devastated students at QU and around the nation. And while it will be a long road to overcome, it was a somber return to classes for students of Umpqua Community College earlier this week. Resumption of school came a week and a half after a gunman's deadly massacre on campus. CNN's Jamie Wilson leads our coverage of the tragedy.
Well, it was not easy for students and staff to head back into the classroom at UCC today, but with extra mental health resources here, the governor, and unwavering support from the community, they tell me they are able to take this difficult first step.
The whole community turned out to welcome everybody back, and it felt like coming home.
We first met Hannah Miles wrapped in a Red Cross blanket right after the shooting next door to her writing class. Now she's back on campus and back in class with the students she escaped with.
As soon as we walked in, it was kind of just like everybody just like giving hugs, and so thankful that we all made it out okay.
Driving through a gauntlet of American flags and homemade signs, students and staff return to a wave of support. Locals say this tragedy has shaken the entire community.
It's a way of showing love and giving them a hug and a wave and hoping that they have courage and strength to face the campus today.
Everybody knows someone that was impacted from this, and being that small of a community, but you really see how big the hearts are, when something like this happens.
Governor Kate Brown toured the campus, met with students, and gave out her fair share of hugs. Despite a huge law enforcement presence, the governor knows there's still a sense of fear here, but she doesn't think it will last long.
This is a very strong and resilient community, and they will provide the support that these students need to move forward.
This is all about students today. Every time we see a student interacting with a teacher, both the teacher and the student get stronger.
Hannah understands why some students cannot come back yet.
I still hear the pops and sounds. It kind of just takes me back.
But she says this is where she needs to be.
I know it'll never be normal again, but just to start the healing process, it was great.
Now, UCC President Cavan says they're in the process now of reviewing their security strategies and testing some new procedures, but nothing has officially changed yet. And they say they're also still trying to figure out what will eventually become of Snyder Hall. In Roseburg tonight, Jamie Wilson, Fox 12 Oregon.
For many campus communities, the frequency of these shootings prompts the question, when will it happen here? QU students and faculty express their reactions.
The first thing I felt was sad that another school shooting happened. And the second thing I felt was kind of helpless.
People who have no business having a gun because of mental illness and other sorts of things, having access to a gun, but that's really difficult to do. Mental illness is pervasive in society.
I mean, it's something we've seen more and more common in recent years. I mean, school shootings, movie theater shootings, mall shootings. So the shock factor is starting to become less.
It doesn't really shock me anymore, and I think that's really unfortunate that something like that isn't kind of a shock to people.
Well, I was very sad. I think first you think about the lives that are touched, both the students that have lost their lives and their families. You think about the students who witnessed the event or who felt threatened by the event. And then, of course, you feel bad for the offender and his family.
It is important for schools to take preliminary precaution in case of an emergency such as the Oregon and Arizona school shootings. Protecting the students is extremely important to QU, and they have set up specific tools for students to use when in potentially dangerous or uncomfortable situations. QU has set up emergency phones within the class buildings to make it easier and quicker to alert campus security. Also, fire alarms are around in every corner of QU buildings for fire hazards and emergencies, which requires students to evacuate the building. You can call campus security at 217-228-5600 5600 and do not hesitate if you feel the need for their assistance. One of the biggest improvements to campus security was the addition of identification keycards. The keypad entry to building entrances and classrooms helps some students feel safer. The keypads allow access to registered students and staff simply by holding an ID card up to it. This school year marks the second year for the use of the keypad security entrance. Student Nathan Perez says he feels safer knowing that the keypad entry works effectively.
Classroom and in the buildings on campus, there are key codes, so you can't get into a classroom without a card, which means you're registered at the school, and you can't get into an office without a key, meaning you're a known entity walking around the campus. I see a pretty good security presence on campus, which I think is a little bit of a deterrent of crime.
Harry Carey, Joe Buck, Chris Berman, and Dick Vitale. Each person on this list is recognized as some of the best color commentators in their respective sports. However, all of them had to start somewhere before they became so well known. Quincy students are getting their start right here at home. Let's find out how. The Quincy Athletic Department, along with the rest of the Great Lakes Valley Conference, has launched the GLVC Sports Network. The GLVC has partnered with Sidearm Sports to bring hundreds of games to fans everywhere and allows them to stay connected to all the Great Lakes Valley Conference schools. The GLVC Sports Network, presented by Quincy University, has provided a different spin to the network. The live stream, video, and audio broadcast is totally run by the students of Quincy University, ranging from live videos, statistical updates, and even live play-by-play. The students of Quincy are gaining valuable experience that not many other students around the country have the opportunity to. The Quincy broadcast currently covers women's volleyball, men's and women's soccer, football, and women's swimming. And when the rest of Hawk Athletics begin, the Quincy broadcast team will be there to cover those sporting events as well. Currently, the Quincy University broadcast is run by Ryan Snyder, David Jacob, and Shay Stein. And when the soccer season is over, Bailey Gruber will also join the broadcast. This opportunity provides a tremendous advantage for students looking to get into all aspects of broadcasting as well as communication. Participating in the broadcast can be given credit for classes if approved by the professors and has the possibility of becoming an internship in the future. This provides a great opportunity for all those looking to get into broadcasting, an opportunity to see if that is what lies in your future.
Certainly a unique opportunity. I mean, you know, if you go to a bigger SEC or Big 12 school, obviously the students aren't going to call the games. You know, ESPN's going to be on it, and so if you're really interested in that and putting your hands in and doing the work, then I mean, yeah, this is obviously a place where you get the opportunity to do that. So I think that's a pretty cool thing.
It's all into your hands. It's you get to decide what to do. You get to decide when to do it. You get to make the calls. You get to broadcast. You get to record. You get to do everything on your own and with the other students.
Music fraternity Kappa Kappa Psi is hosting a cookout at County Market to help raise funds for the music department this weekend. Kappa Kappa Psi consists of leaders within the university's band who work to raise funds for the department and promote events. This annual event will take place at County Market on 24th Street from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. this Sunday, October 18th. Hamburgers, ribeye sandwiches, and more will be available. For more information, please contact the Director of Bands, Bill Mockhold.
Kappa Kappa Psi isn't the only busy group this upcoming week. Students for Life involved in the pro-life organization on campus will be hosting events throughout next week. Each day has a specific topic, and the activities for that day will directly correlate. The group is also participating in the Pregnant on Campus initiative, which consists of various challenges to raise awareness and support the pro-life movement. For more information on any of these events, contact Catherine Rathgeber at the email address on your screen. Education students this semester have started working with a new program that assesses their student teaching on a more personal level. I sat down with the Dean of Education to discuss the impact of these changes. The State Board of Education in Illinois has changed the way professors assess their teacher candidates. In previous years, students took a test consisting of 120 multiple-choice questions, but the board felt this did not fully assess how a person teaches in a classroom setting. This led to a new assessment program called EdTPA, which stands for Education Teacher Performance Assessment. Students looking to earn their teaching certificate must complete a portfolio consisting of student work showing planning, implementation, and assessment of student learning in the classroom. Students will create lesson plans, have video evidence of themselves teaching in the classroom, and show student assessment to demonstrate that their teachings have had an impact on student learning. For one teacher, tracking her progress gives her a personal connection to her students.
For a lot of my students, coming to school is the best part of their day, and just having that adult support. So that's definitely the most enjoyable part to me, is just knowing that I'm there for them and that I can help them and watch them grow as learners.
Dean of the School of Education, Dr. Bruce Spitzer, says this new program allows students to not only observe their own teaching, but the influence it has on their students.
Hopefully students, though, will see it as a way to really dig deeply into this one experience and find out for certain that what they're doing in the classroom with children makes an absolute difference in those children's lives.
Dr. Spitzer also says the EdTPA program is a nationwide standard that education students should have knowledge of prior to their student teaching experience. Coming up next, we'll take a look at the first Democratic debate of the year.
And how tension between the United States and Russia is rising. We'll be right back.
Well, my first thought was, Brother Ed has set us up. He's got someone hiding in there. They're getting ready to jump out of the curtain and scare us, but yeah, there was no one else there, and I couldn't explain it. It's just one of those phenomena.
I've always been a skeptic, and I've always thought that there was a rational explanation for all things like that, but being there when that all happened, we didn't have a rational explanation for why that happened.
There was. Did you hear it?
Oh my
Can
God.
Oh gosh, wait, did you see that?
Welcome back to KU All Access. The first presidential Democratic debate for the 2016 election took place on Tuesday, October 13th.
And what happened in Vegas certainly isn't staying there. The good, the bad, and the ugly moments from last night's Democratic debate are already making major waves in the 2016 campaign. Diane Gallagher breaks down the lasting effect of the first face-off.
The highs.
That the American people are sick and tired of hearing about your damn emails.
Thank you. Me too. Me too.
And lows.
Just what does that say about you that you're casting a vote for something you weren't really sure about?
I think you're being a little rough.
Of the Democrats' first debate are now behind them. But Tuesday night's Sin City showdown will likely have a lasting effect on 2016. The general consensus? It was a good debate. Even the Republicans seem to enjoy it.
I can tell you that I'm sitting here having debate envy, because what we saw today was a master class on debating.
And Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders ran away with it.
Basically tonight, Hillary Clinton was Beyonce. She was flawless.
Of the three other guys, all polling at less than 1% nationally, experts say only Martin O'Malley came close to making a mark.
I think O'Malley helped himself. I don't know that he helped himself enough, but I think his constant drumbeat of, well, you like that policy? I did it in Maryland. You like that? I did it. I think that actually worked very well.
Several pundits predicted this was the beginning of the end of the road for Lincoln Chafee and Jim Webb. And some are even saying it could be the same for a particularly popular non-candidate.
And if I'm Biden, I don't see any way to get on the stage. Between Sanders' performance, certainly near the end, and Hillary Clinton's domination, I don't see a road in for Biden.
I would have to think that this would give him some pause.
Sources close to Biden say that Clinton's debate performance would have no impact on his decision to run for president. In Washington, Diane Gallagher reporting.
A Democratic debate is not complete without a comment from the infamous Republican candidate Donald Trump. Mr. Trump is weighing in on social media about the first Democratic presidential debate. He tweeted, quote, "The debate last night proved that Hillary is running against the B team. She won't be so lucky when it comes to me." This recent tweet is only one of the many bold statements Trump has made during his candidacy.
Earlier this month, we told you about the bombing of Syria by the Russian military and the tension it caused between the United States. However, that is not the only occurrence causing turmoil between the countries. As of now, the air over Syria is safe for American jets, and the United States wants it to keep it that way. Representatives from the U.S. and Russia met Wednesday to discuss the growing activity of Russian military jets over the Syria skies. Jim Sakuto reports.
U.S. and Russian military officials meeting for a third time Wednesday, saying they're close to an agreement to avoid risky contact in the skies over Syria. But their warplanes are already coming dangerously close. 2 U.S. and 2 Russian aircraft came within miles on Saturday, so-called visual range, before they moved away.
You need to make sure that you can continue to answer all bells, as we say in the Navy, and that means having an assurance of safe and professional conduct, in this case by the Russian side.
Russia insists its fighter jets intended no harm.
Our jet turned and approached it, not to scare someone, but to identify the object and whom it belonged to.
The close encounter comes as Russian aircraft continue to shadow U.S. drones monitoring the border with Turkey, amid a massive expansion of Russian air and ground operations inside Syria.
We've seen some unprofessional behavior from Russian forces.
Defense Secretary Ash Carter calls Russia's actions in Syria a mistake, saying that of the 80 airstrikes the Russians have conducted so far, only a fraction have struck ISIS targets.
Russia has chosen to double down on their long-standing relationship with Assad, committing additional military hardware, capabilities, and personnel. We have not, for our part, and will not, agree to cooperate with Russia as long as they continue to pursue a misguided strategy.
Relations with Moscow made more tense with a new Dutch investigation concluding it was a Russian-made and supplied missile system that shot down the Malaysian passenger jet MH17 over Ukraine last July.
Coming up, we'll take a look at this week's weather forecast. Stay with us.
Yes. Growing up, I had one deaf friend, and that was the only deaf person I knew before coming to school here at QU. And now I regularly get to hang out and socialize with the deaf community, which has been awesome. Sign language isn't exactly like learning another spoken language because you use your body, facial expressions, your hands are your instruments. So it is definitely learning a new language. It has its own grammar and syntax and everything. It's not exactly like English like a lot of people think it is.
You had plans. A baby wasn't one of them. You feel you can't afford a baby. Not now. How will you tell your parents? Your boyfriend? Are you or someone you know facing a crisis or an unplanned pregnancy? CareNet of Quincy knows making important decisions can be hard, and you need to have information you can trust. Take a moment, stop and think. Educate yourself. You are not alone. CareNet of Quincy is here to help.
It may be time to start breaking out the QU sweatshirts as temperatures begin to drop.
I know I'll be wearing mine. Lainey Wade has more on an extended forecast. Lainey?
Well, we're halfway through October. If you couldn't tell by the changing of the leaves, perhaps you could tell by the changing of the weather. On Friday, looks like bright and sunny with a high of only 58. Moving into Saturday, not much of a change. Only partly cloudy, still a high of 58. Then on Sunday, that's when we get our warm-up. Still going to be the clouds are going to be sticking around, but we're going to be up to 64. Looking farther into the week, looks like Monday, partly cloudy, but that's when we're going to get our nice warm-up. We're going to go get a high of 76. Moved into Tuesday, still going to be partly cloudy. This is where we start to descend in temperatures. As you can see, it drops only down to 75. We won't see a major change until Wednesday when it drops to 67. You might also want to grab that umbrella on the way out because it looks like we have a chance of some pop-up storms, so keep that handy. And then on Thursday, looks like partly cloudy with a high of only 64. As you can see, the temperature's dropping down into the weekend, but that shouldn't be any reason to get you down. That about wraps it up for this week's forecast. But if you've been seeing a lot of pink around this October, it's probably not by accident. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and many women and men are in the fight for their lives against breast cancer. Pink is the color worn to show support for the breast cancer fighters. So if you have a chance to wear pink, please do, and show the fighters that they're not alone in this fight. I'm Lainey Wade, tossing it back to you at the desk. Ryan?
Thanks, Lainey. You noticed that she was wearing the pink today for her weather forecast. That was not by mistake. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and many of those are showing their support by wearing the pink. Some helpful tips by doing self-exams at home and telling your doctor that if you notice any changes. Catching breast cancer early could save your life. Statistics show more than 40,000 women are currently fighting breast cancer. It is never too early to take this precaution.
Coming up, we'll have the latest in sports.
And how a lack of funding for Illinois MAP grants could affect students. Stay with us.
Welcome back. Andrew joins us now with scores and highlights from all of our Hawks teams.
And Andrew, it's been an interesting week around here with MLB playoffs.
That's right, Ryan. For the first time in the history of Major League Baseball, the St. Louis Cardinals and Chicago Cubs play one another in the postseason. With the excitement of playoff baseball in the air, I asked students what their thoughts were on this renewed rivalry.
Not a huge baseball fan, haven't been for most of my life, but this year I've watched it a little more. I'm hoping the Cubs can win just because in Back to the Future they won, and it was 2015. So it's the first time since over 100 years that they've won, so I think they deserve it.
I mean, I think it's pretty cool. I mean, since the wild card's introduced, man, might see this often. So, I mean, it's pretty cool, good for baseball, renews the rivalry a little bit. So, yeah, see what happens.
Well, I can't deny the fact that the Cubs story is a great Cinderella story. They haven't been there in the lifetime of most people on Earth, but I have to go with my Cardinals.
I was excited for sure. I wanted to see this matchup. My friend is a little, he doesn't want to lose. He can't swallow losing to the Cubs, which could happen, and I'll accept it. I think it'd be pretty cool to see, honestly, to see the Cubs, pull out a World Series win this year. It'd be quite a sports moment.
Honestly, a lot of Cubs fans do deserve it because it's one of the coolest feelings. Being a White Sox fan, nothing can top 05. So, some of the Cubs fans, I hope they get to experience the World Series.
Coach Pagic's team headed into their game with conference foe William Jewell with plenty of confidence after their big homecoming win last week. Could the Hawks take care of business against a struggling Cardinals team, or would William Jewell upset QU at home? We head to the rock pile for the action. It's going to open up with a cool moment here. A couple of 1946 graduates, Art Kunkel and Hank Constantino, on the first QU football team they were. And we're going to get play started with Chris Harris getting the handoff. It's going to be an 8-yard touchdown run as the Hawks take the advantage early in the first half. However, William Jewell going to bounce right back. It's going to be Trayvon Mask with a 3-yard touchdown run of his own. And with plays from Nick Lonergan, the Hawks would be able to take that jump in the first half. You're going to see him drop back, look to his left, and find his favorite receiver. It's Eric Poindexter there. It's a 43-yard touchdown catch, a beautiful catch. You see the umpires having to get together to make sure he did make the catch there, as he does. Celebration there. But William Jewell is about to storm back in the second half with plays of their own. Nick West, their quarterback, going to find Nate Egg Harifba for a 47-yard touchdown pass. This part of a 98-yard touchdown drive that lasted under 4 minutes for William Jewell. And Lonergan, who's been really good all year, is about to make a big mistake here as he's going to throw the interception to Justice Taylor, who's going to take it deep into QU territory. And before things are said and done, William Jewell will have a chance to win the game on a field goal. It's Brandon Womack, a 28-yard field goal. He makes it through the uprights. QU only gets 95 yards in the second half, and we're outscored 17-0, and they fall 24-21. Falling to 2-3 on the season there, William Jewell 2-4. Chris Harris, 24 rushes for 113 yards and a touchdown. Eric Poindexter, 5 catches, 108 yards, and 2 touchdowns himself. The women's volleyball team entered their match against Missouri St. Louis with a little momentum after a home win against Maryville. Could Coach Crank's team find the same result as they played just their 4th home contest? Let's go to Pepsi Arena to find out here. The Lady Hawks relishing in a chance just to play at home, just their 4th home game of the season. It's going to start QU a serve here. Umsel's going to get a chance to set up the attack, and it's going to be Hannah Miller getting the kill as it deflects off the QU and out of bounds. Point for Umsel there. Next play, Umsel's going to have a serve of their own. Can QU come up with the kill opportunity? They can. It's going to be Taylor McMonigal, but it's going to be dug by Umsel. Their kill attempt blocked by QU back towards Umsel's side of the court, and apparently QU hasn't practiced their floaters enough as Umsel gets the floater there. It's Gina Pezzi on that one. And here we're going to have another play. QU is going to have an opportunity to get a kill. This time it's going to be more successful. Bobby Eastman, the sophomore, 1 of 4 kills there as QU battling back. However, Umsel just proves to be too much here. You'll see they're going to set up another attack here, and it's going to be another floater from Lexi Rogers. No discount double check celebration there, but Umsel does get the victory in straight sets. 3-0, improving to 8-11 on their season. QU just 9-10. For Umsel, it's Gina Pezzi, 13 kills. For QU, Cassandra Cahill leads with 14 assists. Coach Carpenter and company hit the road to take on Missouri S&T in a GLVC conference battle. The Hawks relied on a second-half goal from junior Taylor Reese to win a closely contested game. The Hawks winning 2-1, advancing to 8-3-1 on the season. Missouri S&T just 6-6. Taylor Reese, as I mentioned, that's 7th goal on the season. QU's Michael Timmerman adds his 2nd goal as well. Like the men's team, the women's soccer team was on the road to face a Missouri S&T team that has just 1 win this season. Coach Musso's team was able to successfully bounce back from a loss to Drury thanks to Ashley Burton's 11th goal of the season, and the Lady Hawks take this one by a final of 3-1. Ashley Burton with that 11th goal, also 2 assists as the Lady Hawks are now 8-2-3 on the season, and QU's Gabby Herrick adds her 2nd goal. I should also note that the Chicago Cubs did clinch the series against the St. Louis Cardinals, winning that best-of-5 series 3-1. They'll be advancing to the NLCS to take on either the Mets or the Dodgers. That's all for sports, though, this week. It's time to toss it back to Courtney.
Thanks, Andrew. QU All Access will be right back. Stay with us.
It isn't a building. It isn't an arena or field. It isn't a classroom. It's a friendship. It's the bonds you form. It's an opportunity. It's the experience. It's a cute thing. Schedule your visit today.
QUTV is more than a news outlet.
1 in 5 undergrads work at least 35 hours a week, year-round.
Students involved with QUTV learn life lessons, create lasting memories, and gain the experience needed to succeed in future careers.
Students need to be involved with QUTV as a viewer or as a participant because we need to know what's going on around our campus.
Knowledge is powerful, and QUTV News serves to inform not only the students, but the Quincy University community as a reliable and powerful news network.
Welcome back. College and university students may be in trouble concerning Illinois MAP grants.
Students nervously wait for the funding to arrive from the government without much knowledge of what is truly going on. QU All Access sat down with Falcon reporter Evan Powell to discuss what the effect the lack of funds could have.
Thanks. I'm here with Evan Powell, a journalist for the Falcon. He's here to tell us all about the dilemma regarding MAP grants. Evan, thanks for joining us. So what is the problem regarding the MAP grant, and what exactly is a MAP grant?
Well, a MAP grant is a source of financial need for Illinois students. And the main problem is that the Illinois budget hasn't been finalized yet, so students and universities are confused on if they'll get that money or not.
Okay.
So it makes a big problem on college students trying to pay for tuition, and then colleges trying to see how they get that money in and everything.
Okay, so how is that going to affect Quincy University students?
Well, I mean, in the front of the year, they got their bill and they're ready to pay, and and they took out loans. And I know some people personally, they took out these loans, and then now, if they don't get this MAP grant, they're gonna have to try to get another loan for whatever, say $1,500, $2,000 that they're getting. So that's a huge impact on Quincy University students who may not be able to stay here if they can't pay it.
So as a whole, just cover KU students as a whole, what makes this a problem for the universities and college students in Illinois?
Well, there's 125,000 college students in Illinois that get MAP grants. So even at bigger universities, the retention rates are probably going to fall if they can't keep these students if they can't pay it. Because tuition is one of the hardest things to pay, especially for a college student who doesn't work a full-time job, most likely.
Okay, and then have there been any plans addressed to solve this issue?
Well, at QU, President GLVC told me today that no matter what this semester, if they don't get MAP funding, that they're going to float the money and pay for the students so they stay here, and it's going to be a loss of $1.3 million, but they really care about the students. But the second semester is unknown, so if they don't figure it out by then, there could be a lot of people not coming back or having to figure out different solutions to pay it.
Okay, and finally, is there anything else you believe that QU community should know about the MAP grant?
Well, I think that students really are going to have to plan ahead and talk to their parents about this because it's such a big ordeal. I mean, it might not, for our tuition, it might not seem that much, but after you get everything figured out with loans, I know it's going to be hard for students to be able to find this extra money that they already thought they had. So I guess you just be patient and just talk about it with your parents.
Okay, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks for
I'm going to send it back to you guys at the news desk.
Thanks, Allison. Evan will have much more on the story in the upcoming edition of The Falcon.
Right now, QU All Access producer Sarah Valkamp joins us at the desk now to talk about the town hall meeting hosted by Governor Bruce Rauner. Sarah, how did the meeting go?
Well, overall, the conference that was hosted by Johnwood Community College, it wasn't necessarily around the Illinois MAP grant specifically, but it talked about rather what the government was going to do, what Governor Bruce Rauner was going to do to make budgets accessible due to budget cuts in certain areas. They're going to shut down buildings to try to get taxpayers not to pay for the air and the heating to go around such a big building. One of the things that did come up was President Dr. GLVC asked the governor, with all these budget cuts and everything that's happening, all this money that you have, is anything going to come to the university or the colleges? And basically the governor said, well, the budget is really big, it's $1 to $2 million. He doesn't know if he's going to be able to do that. So hearing that, as I do have a MAP grant, it's a little disheartening to know that Illinois, our own state, can't provide scholarships to students who need it. The governor also said that he is sorry that people are being unnecessarily hurt by this, but that there's not much that he can do about it at this moment. He did say that reforms were going to be coming in 60 to 90 days, but really who knows what that means for us. At the end of the conference, I did ask Governor, since I work for the news for Quincy University students specifically, is there anything that he wanted to say to the college students that could lighten them up or make their spirits better, and he only said hang in there. So from that, I don't really know what's going to be coming. I agree with Evan that we just need to prepare, figure out a way that we can pay for school next semester and in the future if this were to happen again.
Well, Sarah, thanks for joining us, and we hope everything's going to be all uphill from here. Thank you all for joining us this week on QU All Access. Remember to tune in online on Facebook or on Channel 97 on campus for more news anytime. For the entire QU TV team, I'm Courtney Gear.
And I'm Ryan Snyder. As always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week, Hawks.